What if the food on your plate was also your God? What if your breakfast was also your creation story? What if scientists discovered that an ancient culture's myth about their relationship with a plant was actually scientifically accurate? For over 5,000 years, Mexicans have known something the rest of the world is only now beginning to understand. And it changes everything about food, identity, and survival. Let's go back to around 3000 BCE in Mesoamerica. There were no cities or empires yet, just small groups of people hunting and gathering food. Then, something changed everything. A wild grass called Teosinte, which barely looked like corn, got slowly transformed over thousands of years. Scientists at the National Academy of Sciences found that ancient farmers in southwest Mexico spent about 9,000 years turning Teosinte into the corn we know today. 9,000 years! That's longer than the entire history of writing. This wasn't an accident. This was genius. Here's what makes it remarkable. Teosinte looks almost nothing like modern corn. The cobs are tiny, the kernels are hard as rocks, and covered in stone-like shells. Ancient Mexican farmers looked at that plant and saw something nobody else saw. They saw potential.
They spent generations carefully selecting and replanting until they created something the world had never seen before. By around 1500 BCE, corn had spread across almost all of Mesoamerica. It fed the Olmec civilization, it fed the Maya, it fed the Aztec, it fed entire civilizations that built pyramids, created calendars, and mapped the stars. None of that happens without corn. Corn wasn't just food. Corn was the engine that powered civilization itself. So when people ask why Mexicans treat corn like something sacred, the answer is simple. Without corn, Mexico doesn't exist. But here's where the story gets even more fascinating. These ancient civilizations didn't just eat corn. They believed something far deeper about it. Here's a question almost nobody asks. If you were going to build a religion around a food, what would that look like? The ancient Maya answered that question in an extraordinary way. Meet Hunahpu, the Mayan Corn God. He wasn't just a god connected to corn. According to the Popol Vuh, the sacred Mayan creation text, humans weren't made from clay or light. Humans were made from corn. Specifically, white and yellow corn ground into masa, mixed with water, and shaped into the first people.
The Popol Vuh tells us the gods tried making humans from mud first. It failed. They tried wood. That failed too. Finally, they used corn, and it worked. This means that for the ancient Maya, every person on Earth was literally corn in human form. Your body, your thoughts, your soul, all corn. This idea is called people of corn, and it's not just poetry. It shaped everything about their culture, how they farmed, how they prayed, how they buried their dead. Corn kernels were placed in the mouths of the deceased so they could eat on their journey to the afterlife. Corn images covered temples, jewelry, and royal headdresses. The Mayan corn god was shown with a corn cob growing directly from his head. This represented the cycle of death, growth, and rebirth. And this belief didn't die with the ancient Maya. It survived Spanish colonization. It survived 500 years of forced religious conversion. It survived everything. Why? Because food identity is the strongest identity on Earth. Today, indigenous communities across southern Mexico and Guatemala still perform ceremonies honoring corn. They still ask permission before planting. They still thank the earth after harvest. The Mayan corn god never really left.
He just got quieter. But the story of corn and Mexican identity doesn't stop in ancient temples. It lives right now
in something billions of people eat every single day. Walk into any Mexican kitchen anywhere in the world, and you'll find masa. That's ground corn dough. It's the base of tortillas, tamales, and dozens of other foods that have been eaten for thousands of years. According to Mexico's National Corn Commission, Mexican cuisine uses about 64 different types of native corn. Not 3, not 10, 64. Each type has a different color, texture, flavor, and traditional use. Blue corn, red corn, black corn, purple corn. These aren't special products in Mexico. They're living heritage. Here's something remarkable about the tortilla specifically. A handmade corn tortilla needs exactly 3 ingredients: masa, water, and heat. That's it. No preservatives, no additives. The same 3 ingredients used 3,000 years ago. Every time a Mexican grandmother presses masa between her palms and lays it on a comal, a flat griddle, she's doing the exact same thing her ancestors did during the Aztec Empire. Food memory runs deeper than any book. But here's where the story gets complicated and urgent.
That ancient relationship is under attack right now. In 1994, the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, opened Mexico's borders to American corn. Almost overnight, cheap imported corn flooded Mexican markets. By the early 2000s, hundreds of thousands of small Mexican corn farmers had been pushed out of business. According to the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, about 1.3 million Mexican farming jobs were lost in the 10 years after NAFTA. Think about what that means. Families whose entire identity was built around growing native corn suddenly couldn't compete. And the imported corn wasn't the same corn. It was genetically modified and industrially produced. It was completely disconnected from 9,000 years of Mexican corn culture. Mexico fought back. In 2023, the Mexican government under President López Obrador issued a decree. It restricted genetically modified corn for human consumption. The goal was to protect native varieties and traditional food culture. The United States challenged that decree through trade laws. A food dispute became an international legal battle. Why? Because for Mexico, this was never just about farming. This was about identity. This was about the Mayan Corn God and the Popol Vuh and 9,000 years of careful work. This was about the belief that you are made from corn, and you don't let someone replace what you're made of. So here's the bigger question. Why does food become identity in the first place? What is it about eating that turns into believing? The answer reveals something fascinating about how humans work. We eat multiple times a day, every day, from birth until death. That repetition creates memory at a deep level. According to food researcher Richard Wilk at Indiana University, food is the most repeated human behavior, and repeated behaviors become identity. But in Mexico's case, the connection goes even deeper. Corn wasn't just eaten, it was explained. It was given a story, a god, a creation myth. And when you give something a story, it becomes impossible to separate from who you are. This is exactly why food and cultural identity are connected in every culture on Earth. French people don't just eat bread. They made laws about its quality in 1993 because bread is France. South Koreans don't just eat kimchi. They registered it with UNESCO because kimchi is Korea. And Mexicans don't just eat corn. They believe they are corn. Because they were taught generation after generation that this plant isn't just food, it's the source of life itself. Here's the quiet truth hiding in all of this. In a world that moves faster every year, where food gets more processed, more globalized, more identical everywhere, the cultures that hold on to their food identity are holding on to something irreplaceable. They're holding on to their story. And no trade agreement, no GMO seed, no fast food chain has ever successfully replaced a people's story. Mexico proves that. 64 varieties of corn, thousands of years of ceremony, a corn god still remembered, still honored, still alive in every tortilla pressed by hand on a hot comal in a kitchen somewhere in Oaxaca right now.